All right, on May 6, 2021, the National Archives requested former President Donald Trump turn over any presidential documents still in his possession. The former president didn't comply to their satisfaction, and on August 8th of 2022, the Justice Department raided Mr. Trump's home to search for presidential records. In the past, presidents often held on to records from their presidency, in some cases for years. A few examples include LBJ. His records weren't turned over to the National Archives until 47 years after he left office. Richard Nixon's records weren't turned over for 39 years. Even former President Barack Obama was allowed to remove 30 million documents from the White House to his presidential library in Chicago, promising to digitize them and then give the archives a copy. More than 6 years after Mr. Obama's presidency ended, the National Archives reveals that 0 pages have been digitized and provided to them.
Joining us now, House Oversight Committee member Representative Jake LaTurner. Congressman, great to have you with us here. Your thoughts in regard to presidential documents. Is this something that is much ado about nothing, as we're learning that it's not uncommon for presidents and in some cases vice presidents to have these types of documents?
Well, let's look at the big picture first. What my constituents get upset about is when there's one set of rules for the Democrats and there's another set of rules for the rest of the American people. That's not right. We have to, as the Oversight Committee, investigate this. Jamie Comer, the chairman, has already launched that investigation, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. What's really important here is that they knew about this before the midterms, and we didn't hear about it until January. And we're taking their word for it. We don't actually know. We do not have the facts. That's what the Oversight Committee is going to get to the bottom of.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is I don't remember the argument a whole lot on the left that, oh, all presidents do this, until they were found at Mr. Biden's residence.
Well, you see the ego of President Biden going after President Trump this summer, and then he himself had classified documents. We have got to get to the bottom of this. It has to be investigated. We've got to know. We can't just take their word for it. We know what their word is worth. We have to understand exactly when they knew that they had these documents, the exact number, what was the content, and why the delay in revealing it to the American people. This is a serious issue. The Oversight Committee, we haven't had any oversight for the last 2 years. We're going to get it with Republicans in control.
Also want to get your thoughts on this, Congressman. DirecTV, of course owned by AT&T, has dropped Newsmax from their cable lineup as of Tuesday, even as it keeps 22 lower-rated liberal news channels. Does your committee or Congress at large have any plans to investigate the deplatforming of conservative media? We know they removed OAN last year.
First and foremost, I think it's a bad business decision. I have a lot of Kansas constituents that watch Newsmax, and so it's a bad business decision for DirecTV to do this. What we are so tired of in this country is conservative voices being silenced. That's what's happening with social media. That's what's happening in this situation, it appears. And I do think there's a role for Congress to see exactly what's going on and why the decisions. It's not DirecTV's executives' opinions that matter. It's them allowing the American people to have choices. We're not suggesting that they should get rid of MSNBC, but for God's sake, stop removing conservative voices and allow people to have a choice when they watch TV.
Yeah, and before we go, sir, your committee is going to be holding hearings on COVID and the border. What are you hoping to find out?
Well, the border is a very serious issue. We've had millions of interactions with people crossing the border illegally. The getaways, the ones that we don't even know how many that number is. They've estimated 1 million people, but I think it's far greater than that. This is an incredibly important issue. Fentanyl is killing American people every single day. We've got to close this border. This is not a partisan issue. This is a common sense issue. And this administration, and specifically Secretary Mayorkas, has done nothing to solve it. Secretary Mayorkas should lose his job. The Oversight Committee needs to do extensive investigation into exactly what's happened. And we've got to start enforcing the laws of this nation.
All right, Representative Jake LaTurner, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And